welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Relationship Builders Forum, and I am your host today, Amara.
And I am Gospel.
And we're co-hosts on Relationship Builders Forum, and today we're going to be having an amazing conversation. Before we dive right in, right? Maybe it's your first time on our channel. Kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. It would be amazing, fantastic to have you join our community. And to all our returning subscribers, you know it's always a joy to have you back. Today we are featuring an amazing couple. They are unique in all spheres of life. I mean, these are people who are leaders in their field, and I wouldn't want to do the introduction because I may not do justice to it. So they are so dear to my heart, and I want to make welcome Chidi and Victor Akunna.
Yay! Thank you for having us. Yes, like you said, we're Chidi, Akunna, I am, and this is my dear husband,
Victor Akunna.
Yeah, and we run an organization called Foundation for Family Affairs, and our mission is to connect hearts and raise healthy families. Thank you for having us. We're looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, so for those of you wondering, what are they going to talk about? Today we want to look at trust issues in marriage. Because we've had so many people come to us for counseling, asking, because they are dealing with different issues around trust. And we felt that no other people are good for this and to bring these wonderful experts who talk about relationship on different levels, you know. So let's just go straight into it. What do you guys think about trust? How important is trust in marriage?
Wow. That's for us. Trust is the foundational thing. When you want to build something, maybe you want to build a house, there are some foundational things that you have to put there. It doesn't matter the kind of structure, you have to put that first into consideration. And trust is one of those key elements. If you're building relationship, if you're building relationship with a colleague, you're building relationship with your child, you need to build that trust. More so, you're building a romantic relationship. Because there will be different reasons for you guys to fall out. So the person needs to know that they can count on you. Another way of looking at trust is, can I count on your word? Can I count on you? Are you going to be there for me? Are you going to be the same person? Can I close my eyes and jump into your hands? That is one critical thing about trust.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Very
Can I
critical.
close my eyes?
I just wanted to ask, is it possible to have a relationship without trust? That's impossible. It is fundamental. What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I think to add to that, I think some people will tell you, well, we can have a contractual relationship, we can have different forms of it, but we are looking at marital relationship in which two of you are building something beautiful. So, like you rightly said, it's not possible to have that without trust.
Because even with business relationships, I've got to trust my partner. I've got to know that you're not going to even run off with the funds of the company tomorrow, and then there'll be no business for us. So trust is really key.
Okay.
I think, just to kind of bring everything together, what you're saying in essence is that it's a bedrock of any relationship, whether marital, business relationship, whatever relationship at all. Because, like Victor said, if I don't trust you, what are we doing together? I should be able to close my eye. I like that illustration. I should be able to close my eyes and jump right into your arms.
Yeah, so you're free to jump into that.
Just be jumping all the time.
Yes. Well, I know that we don't need to talk about how to build trust and all of those. Let's say you've started a relationship, everything fine, you feel you trust this person, and over time.
But let them touch a little bit on it, because there might be people here who got trust issues, right? So how would they build trust in their relationship?
Okay.
How would they get to the point where
They can trust.
you trust this person? Because some people come into the relationship, so like look at it in twofold. Some people start off a relationship, right, and they're still trying to walk themselves through trying to build trust. Okay, the second part is where there's trust and now it's broken down, and how do we rebuild? But let's start with the first, phase of it. You're now married to somebody, and then you're now on a journey together. So how do you, build that trust and consolidate that trust?
They've got to be open. They have to start there. let nothing be left secret. Bring all the cards on the table. Let's know what we're working on. Okay, and this is what we encourage intending couples to do. If you're coming to a relationship with somebody, you're coming from different backgrounds, different histories, you come and sit down and talk. Let's talk about this. Let's unpack them because we're coming together to form a new nation. What will be the guidelines? So what are the principles that will run our new nation? We need to talk about them.
Yeah, to add to that, we as individuals need to be trustworthy. Some people are naturally trustworthy, so they have huge level of pre-trust when you start interacting with them. That's just the way they are. And people just trust them. Maybe the sound of their voice, the way they carry themselves. So there is, some people have that. Then when you now begin to interact, because that's what we're focusing on, interacting with the person. So you now begin to look at, does what this person say line up with what they do? Does their words align with their behavior? So if that, when you observe that, you realize that, okay, I can see a semblance. Another thing is, can they deliver? Because that's, I'm talking about character now, I'm talking about confidence. So first one is the character. When what you say, okay, I'm going to be there at 5. And then 5 is when you just get into the shower, you are coming, the person is coming, oh, I'm on my way. That's already putting a question mark. You do that a number of times, the person will be trained not to believe what you say when it comes to timing. So when it comes to confidence, I'm going to deliver this report at this time. Okay, I'm going to pick up the kids. And then you forgot, oh, I was so busy at work, and then you are calling your wife at work, and then, those kind of things happen a number of times. The person will be trained not to trust you that you cannot do that. So those are the 2 key things. I don't know whether you have something to add to that.
I like that.
Yeah, so those are the 2 key things in terms of character, in terms of competence, and then like she said, in terms of communication. Not just communication, vulnerable communication. Because I can talk to someone, but you will know that I'm just speaking at the peripheral. Wow. I'm guarded, I'm shielded. And in the way my eye will tweak in my body, you know that this guy is tense. He doesn't want to go deep into some conversation. But vulnerable communications whereby you're asking me, okay, so have you ever, maybe I'm meeting you for the first time, I'm liking this girl, I want to ask her out. And after first dating, second dating, people begin to ask some more personal questions because now they're thinking, okay, surface, I like him, we like each other. People now begin to go deep. So they begin to ask you questions, what are your dreams? Those kind of conversation begin to come up. Alright? Further down the road, you begin to ask questions like, are you in debt? Do you have, there are many other conversations. So when the more you know each other, we call it progressive disclosure. The more you know each other, you begin to disclose. That disclosure is going deeper and deeper into vulnerability. You come to that point where you share something special with that person. Whereby you guys have layers, like an onion. You have layers of. So that's why I said you can't just end the relationship and maybe your wife passed and just jump into. It takes time to get to that point with anybody. There's layers and layers of what you have built with this person. It's so special, it's so unique. There's nothing like it. So trust is so fundamental, but there are layers in it. So it's like a muscle as well that you keep doing. After a while, you just notice that your husband just tells you, oh, I'm going to do this. You don't even think that you will, because he has proven to you beyond reasonable doubt that he will be there. So that's why you say, this guy, why are you vulnerable? Why are you open about your finance? They can't get it. Because he has proven, you guys are 13 years now, he has proven over that he can be trusted with money. So you just do some things without even thinking. So when he acts in a way that is, you're like,
that's weird.
That's weird. That's word.
Exactly.
That's weird. So that's basically what.
Yeah, that's huge. The things you guys have said, because obviously when you are talking, what came to my mind is like opening an account and you're making deposits. Trust is something you build progressively. You keep depositing, and someone will know that you have level of trust in my bank account.
Absolutely.
So because of the things you've done, you talked about character, you talked about competence, you talked about communication. So those things are the things that would build that trust. And to add to that, I think you know who you trust, which is why we always say to singles, before you get married, before you make that commitment, know this person.
Yes.
Because trust is based on knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you don't know this person, you might be projecting trust on the person,
But the person may not have the
thinking, I trust you, thinking this person is this,
power.
but when you now settle down, what you have in your mind would
I know
like
what
your
you mean.
reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's something they always say, Victor and Chidi, before you investigate before you affectionate. Yes.
Wow,
I
that's
know.
brilliant.
So I mean, it's something they always say, and please investigate before you affectionate.
You know, in saying that, we do our due diligence for something that's like property, right? You're going to buy property. You have to, they'll tell you, caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. So it's your responsibility to do the checks. Okay? So why would it be that for something as serious as relationship, we're talking about a lifetime relationship for life, okay? You've got to do your due diligence. You've got to do those checks. So I love that you said that. You've got to investigate before you affect.
Before you affectionate.
Yes. Okay, there's something Victor said, when he was talking. He came up with an analogy about an onion, and he talked about trust being like the layers of the onion, like you have the core, which is both of you, and then over time, you kind of layer it up. So depending on, what you guys have done over years, that would determine the size or in terms of the layers. Now, what happens when something actually cuts through those layers? Over years, you built these sort of layers. I trust this person so much, and we have all of these layers of onion, and then all of a sudden, something just cuts through it. What happens?
Even you saying it, I feel like it's an
Like-
emotional pain.
Like someone withdrawing all the money in your bank account.
Yes.
All of a sudden, it
Trust
disappears. Your trust account depleted.
I
What
think
happens?
No, I was just going to say, infidelity. I was listening to this judge one day, and he was speaking with so much pain. And he said, I think any partner who commits adultery should be incriminated. That it should be made a criminal act. That was the way he put it. Okay, infidelity should be considered a criminal act. He was trying to speak as to the rippling effect it has on the partner who's been cheated on. It's very damaging. Some people lose themselves for years because of that. So just thinking about it, you're talking about cutting through. That's like stabbing the heart.
Yeah. I think one of the experiences that could lead to this you just said is the infidelity thing. I was speaking with someone some time ago, and the lady was saying that she trusted her. They've built a relationship over time, and for her, the issue when it happened was unexpected, and to recover from that point is a problem. So, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah, I was even going to say was that the impact of it is based on the issue that happened. Because when people build emotional bank accounts, it solidifies your relationship to be able to go through some form of thing. So there are things you do. So for example, you forgot to lock the door again after your spouse have told you 1 million times. So because you built emotional bank accounts, that doesn't really, you just be angry, but there are some things like what you talked about, infidelity, that really makes a huge withdrawal. And even withdraw the one that what we call advanced overdraft, that even withdraw the money that is not there. So in a situation like that, I think the two individuals need to sit down and say, what, this has happened. Is to apologize. And when people apologize, depending when I say this has happened, we have to discuss where do we go from here.
Yeah.
Because why I'm saying that is sometimes the person who has wronged may become braggadocious about it like that. I mean, I'm a man. What do you expect? This is what happened, depending on what the issue is. And they now expect the spouse, particularly in some cultures. The guy in a particular patriarchal culture, the guy just assumes, yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm so sorry that happened. Let's get over it. No, you cannot legislate people's healing. You cannot fast track people's healing. You have to give people time, because everybody has different pace. Two people might be injured, the same wound will not heal at the same time, because their body temperature, their texture, their DNA. There are many things that play into it. Same thing. People have emotional DNA. There are things that how they have been dealing with things from their generation. So you can't just expect them to just get over it. Some people, no matter what it is, what somebody else will call big thing, somebody else will call small thing. So you can't force your spouse to just get on board. So first thing first is to have that conversation and say, I'm really sorry about this. This is how it happened, because the person will be asking you a question. What happened? They want to know, because there are a lot of questions in their mind. So sometimes we recommend the an infidelity recovery, if it's an infidelity. If it's not, you need to get somebody that will be neutral, because the emotions in the room will be so supercharged that it can light up the room. Right. So you have to have someone that will be an unbiased umpire that will be like, you know what, okay, allow this other person to vent and say all they have to say. Even if some of their understanding or recollection of the event is not accurate, it's not the time to correct them. Let them vent. When people empty they are now open to listening.
That's true.
So during that process of reconciliation, and then you have to now begin to show that you have to begin to build that trust all over again. The thing about trust is that it's a double-edged sword. It's both strong and fickle at the same time. In the sense that after you build that strong onion, something really can just take everything away, and you'll be wondering, to look like you guys have not known each other anymore, because you now have to now begin to build that relationship. And some people decide that they don't want to do that again. It's their right. Yeah, you just have to allow it. So there are many other things on this one now.
Wow. Listening to you and thinking about rebuilding trust, for some people is the emotional energy to go through that process again, because you've questioned everything, especially when you believed everything. Now
that's why you see some people move from, like, when if they have been dealt with in the past, in a previous relationship, when they come into a new relationship, they come in with a lot of suspicion. They're wondering, is this going to happen again? Will I be abandoned again? Will this person walk out on me again? You see, and that's why it's always good to look into your histories when you come together. You need to go into those histories and talk. And you who's been hurt in the past must be willing to make this new thing you're building work. Like, okay, probably before you met your spouse, you met somebody who treated you in a funny way. Maybe he just messed up with something you trusted him with. And you come into this relationship, you're looking at your husband, I'll speak from the perspective of a woman, and you're thinking, are all men the same? Is he not going to treat me like that? But you've got to get to that point where you at least trust him, so you can at least build something beautiful. Otherwise, you won't be building something solid. Yes.
We have to give it a chance, because if you hedge yourself in to protect yourself, you also fence out the good people from coming. Same fence is doing two separate things. So I don't want to hurt again means you don't want to build a relationship that can turn out positive.
Well, some people may not want to deal with it the way you have suggested. I've had cases where if it's a man, you start questioning even the children, and may decide to go for DNA test.
This is after many years.
Yes, because now he doesn't trust anything about this woman anymore.
And it is called question.
Yes. What do you have to say about paternity tests?
Well, for me, if anyone it's like you're trying to do anything, you're trying to buy something. Why do people test drive cars? You want to find out that
it's authentic.
It's authentic. Am I buying? So if anything has been called into question for anything that your spouse did, that will take you to the point of doubting the paternity of your children, alleged children now, to use the right term. I think to put your own heart to rest, discuss it with your spouse. Like, to be honest with you, this is calling into question X, Y, and Z. And for me, I think I would like to go for a paternity test. I don't think there's anything. If I have nothing to hide and someone is telling me that they want to go and check, go and check, go and verify. That would be my disposition. But if I have something to hide, what I'm going to be asking is, why? I mean, you don't trust me? I'm going to create drama. And the more drama you create, the more suspicion. In fact,
what you're saying is that distrust already led to this point.
That's what, for anybody to try to verify the paternity of his children, something significant may have happened, either within the relationship or within extending or boundary relationship that will make anybody.
But don't you think, because I hear you, I hear what you're saying, but don't you think as a woman, right? Fine, something happened and it led to that, and then you go as far, because for me that's deep. You go as far as saying, okay, I thought to question even the children.
If you're saying something happened, are you talking about adultery?
Maybe. And then you come, but you come to question. Maybe for me, I'm saying it's a one-off.
It was a one-off thing.
It wasn't like,
mistake.
and then you now begin to escalate it. The children are not even sure.
It takes only once to get pregnant.
Yeah, but then, this is the question now. I'm trying to look at it from the other person's point of view. If you then go to the point of doing all of that, and then you verify, and at the end of the day, it turns out that they are your children.
Then we now know where to start to build from. I cannot. First thing, if you want to build,
then I will be so heartbroken.
Yeah, because you erred, so you have the right to make your own choice.
You guys are judging now.
No, we are not judging. Before people build anywhere, first they want to try the kind of soil. They want to check there is no sinkhole or anything. So if anything happens and you're called into question about anything, you want to know where do I start to build. The name she even told me, her name is Amara. I need to even go and check that. Where's your birth certificate?
Yeah,
that's joking. But I'm trying to say that people who have, the human mind, even you don't know where your heart will go to. I'm telling you, your heart can go to different places. So wherever the person needs per time, of course, some people can exaggerate. I get what she's saying. Some people can now begin to become vindictive. The issue is no longer fact finding. It's now fault finding. Where they're allowing you to say, you know what, I'm going to penalize this person. Some people, it's not what happened that sank the relationship. It's that disposition after what happened. Because they just refused to move on beyond what happened. And they decided to hold on to it. But it's also their right. That's why we are saying about having an unbiased person that is a professional that will give you a perspective. Because sometimes when you're in the middle of the pain, you think through the pain.
Yeah.
It colors everything. If I'm wearing yellow sunshade now, everything in this room will be colored. But only other people can see, but I can see because I'm only seeing through the yellow stuff. Like,
that's true.
How can you tell me this is not green? This is blue based on what I'm seeing, and I will be right from my perspective. The problem is that my perspective is myopic, it's limited. There's a bigger perspective. So in a situation like that, it's good for the person to have an unbiased person that will kind of check some of your perspective, question, probe. The person will say, okay, so at this point now, am I trying to look for information, or am I trying to punish this woman over and over and over and over and over again? Or am I trying to punish this man over and over again? That's why the question is, what do we want? If we want this relationship, okay, so we now need to begin to do things that will build that relationship. If we don't want this relationship, there's no being under the same and causing pain and destroying the children, because they will see you behaving in very weird ways. So the first thing is, this has happened, where do we go from here? That question will determine the strategy.
I agree with you, because I think if you really depends on how you approach this perspective. You said, if you want to forget about what has happened in the past, you want to move on and rebuild trust, and you don't want to hurt the children involved, because when you, for instance, you realize that this child is not yours, it could impact on how you treat that child.
Yes.
It could even rock the relationship to a point of no return. Because if this woman now knows that even if the result is negative or positive, depends on how it goes. So I would say, if anyone is in this kind of situation, think about what you want to build, like you said. Do we move on from here? Do we trust that this woman or this man is willing to rebuild trust? Once that willingness is there, you might, if you keep digging, you might dig what would end it completely.
You bury the relationship.
Completely.
I think it helps the disposition of the person who's hurt. Because your spouse would want to see that you're at least repentant.
Yes.
Not just remorseful. You may have apologized, but have you stopped? Have you turned from what you used to do? Okay, because if you carry on with that lifestyle, it makes moving forward, difficult. Moving on, difficult.
Absolutely.
I like that. You're not just remorseful, you're repentant. And I like what you said, if you keep digging, because one thing I know about, if you seek, you will find. If you keep digging, you will find things. And funny thing, even when those things are not those issues, your interpretation will link.
Yeah, I think the thing is, let's not get to that point.
Yeah.
Trust is, like you said, it's fickle. It's like an egg. Once you break it,
That's it.
putting it together is difficult. If I put myself in that position, I don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Someone you've trusted with all your life, and now that trust is broken.
It's gone.
Yeah. So, but what do you say to people who are open and willing to rebuild trust?
How would they rebuild it?
To be honest with you, that's the first disposition. Right? Because if I don't know if you are a Christian, we're in that situation where we did not deserve trust. We did not deserve anything, but God reached out to us, even while we didn't deserve it. So the first thing is to have that thought to say, you know what, I don't try to figure it out. To say, I want to know how the end. Sometimes we always tell people start with the end in mind. There are some situations you can't start with the end in mind. You just have to take it every day. Step by step. So today, I am going to try not to get upset by anything he does. Okay, that's what I'm going to do today. And by the end of the day, I really tried. Okay, I was not upset. Tomorrow, okay, so conversations will be like, so first thing first, we're just saying that you have to take it one step at a time. Because I can only be generic because every situation is different. Whatever led to that is different, and what triggered it is also different. People's histories are different. So, but generally speaking, it's just for you having that disposition that you want this thing to work. Remember that sometimes you might want something, but your orientation, your body, may want to sabotage the process, because a part of you want vengeance, a part of you want reconciliation. So there's going to be that conflict. So whichever part takes over at time, is what you do. So you may just be like, it's evil, and then you just show the revengeful thing. Don't be patient with yourself, all right? Because you are going through healing. You can't chart your healing to say that, at this time, in 2 weeks, you should be here. No. Some people 2 weeks are even further down.
Yeah.
Some people 2 weeks, they are here. So just give yourself time to recover, because it's like when you lose someone, you are grieving that relationship really. That's what you're doing. You are grieving that relationship, and you can't legislate, you can't control your feelings. So, because sometimes you read some things in book, people are saying you should go through 5 processes of grieving, denial and this. Some people don't go through it in that pattern. So give yourself, be patient with yourself and just go through. But be determined. The only thing you should have at the back of your mind is, I want to make this thing work out. The way will show up. Like the Chinese people will say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When you are ready to make that's reconciliation, the way will appear. You just be watching a YouTube video, something like a YouTube video and making it jump at you. That would be information you need for that time. You use that, you move to the next phase.
And it is possible to move on from that point. There are people who have moved on from really situations that almost broke them, that almost set them apart, and they're having a wonderful life today. It might just be that your story might be an encouragement for another couple tomorrow. So don't waste that pain. I will say to you, don't waste that pain. It's come for a reason. Use it to encourage other couples tomorrow.
Wow. We may not say everything, they may not say everything today, but this is just a starting point, and we'll say to you, use this as a point of beginning a conversation or your process of healing. In case you need professional support, I think they are available to be of help and take you through the journey.
Absolutely, because that's something people from our communities don't embrace. Sometimes we go through things that have actually sabotaged or kind of breached the trust in your relationship, and you feel, we have to hide from people, we have to do it ourselves. No, I mean, if the help is there, take it. Take the help. And if you feel that you guys are not in that state where you can help yourselves, then professional help is available. Seek professional help from them. They're also marriage counselors. We are also marriage counselors. I mean, reach out to people, but make sure that they are unbiased. Really important. You don't want people who are stakeholders in your relationship because they will have a perspective. You know, they will be pitching towards somebody or the other. So really important. And maybe we've not been able to cover all this. Like I said, it's an ongoing conversation, and we would definitely be touching base. We'll be bringing them again on our platform again because it's been an amazing conversation. And I must say, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you know, maybe there are some things that resonates with you based on what we've said. Just put them on the chat. Let us know. Maybe something we kind of missed out, or maybe something kind of light bulb moment. Put it on the chat. And you know what? Maybe in the course of watching this, you forgot at the start to subscribe. Now is the time. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. To all our returning subscribers, it's an amazing, amazing opportunity to have this conversation with you today. And until the next time, it's goodbye from us.
Bye.